This video will show how to make a patterned landscape using the iPad version of ArtRage Studio. Open the app and hit Create a New Painting. Make sure that the width is larger than the height since you're working in a landscape orientation. Start by selecting the technical pen and a medium size and the color black. Use 2 fingers to pinch your canvas small enough that you can see all the edges. If you accidentally draw during this process, simply use the backwards arrow to undo. Now draw a horizon line about 1/3 up the paper. Divide the bottom part into rows to represent fields. Make sure to slant the lines towards the center to indicate the vanishing point. Above the horizon line, add things like trees, houses, fences, bushes, and other simple, large shapes that you can eventually fill with pattern. Remind students that all lines must touch and create enclosed areas in which they will be pouring paint in the next step. When you're finished with your outline, go to the Layers palette at the bottom of the screen and click Duplicate Layer. This will create another black line drawing that you will use in the end to slide over the top of your artwork. Select the Bucket tool from the top of the tool menu and expand your color palette and pick a color with which to fill your sections. Don't forget to move the dot on the value section of the color wheel to a bright color. If students accidentally fill with black, simply use the back arrow to undo this step. This is a good time to talk about repetition and suggest that students use a color more than once and balance it throughout their work. Continue clicking and filling. Although I didn't do it here, when you're finished adding color, I would add another layer. This way, as students are adding patterns, they can erase or modify without disturbing the color underneath. Next, go back and choose the technical pen. You can adjust the size by clicking on the gear at the bottom of the screen. Adjust it to larger for large dots and smaller for smaller dots. Select contrasting color to add pattern in all of the sections of your landscape. You can layer the pattern using a large dot underneath and a smaller dot on top. Under the gear for settings, there's also an option for a square head. This will allow you to make squares for your pattern. In this section, I went back and chose the technical pen to add a grid to the top of my color. Then I used the bucket tool to fill in every other square of the grid, creating a checkerboard pattern. If you accidentally tap on a line when filling, this will turn all your lines that color. Make sure you immediately use the back arrow to undo this step. When you're finished with your patterns, go back to your Layers palette. Click the small rectangle with the arrows at the top, and then put your mouse on the 3 little lines next to the bottom layer and slide it up to the top. This way, the black lines will cover up wherever the pattern went outside its designated area. When the artwork is finished, you need to export the painting. You're going to want to choose JPEG as the file type and photos as the location. You can then go to your photo library and upload the image to Dropbox.